remember the very first time I had to take my clothes off and have sex with a man I didn't know. There were 2 cameras in the room, a bed in the middle. The bed wasn't made up. There wasn't a comfy duvet or soft pillows. It was just a mattress with a sheet. I remember standing near the bed and hearing a plane fly over us somewhere in the distance. I remember wishing in that moment that we were under attack and the plane would drop a bomb. I remember longing, begging to a God I didn't know, for something to happen to change what I knew was about to take place. As orders were barked at me, I started taking off my clothes, piece by piece. Every layer removed somehow also took away the last fragments of dignity and identity I had left. I was cold, rigid. As my numbness was replaced by pain instead, a hatred came over me, and feeling so strong, I thought it was going to explode out of me. I felt dirty. I felt weak. With every breath, more feelings penetrated my body and my mind. You stupid, irresponsible, moronic piece of scum. I was a nobody. Good for other people's pleasure, nothing more. A pathetic piece of junk. I was a nobody. That one incident turned into regular occurrences. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months, and eventually months turned into years. As I was walking my puppy along the beach this morning, it was so calm, the water so still, no wind, motionless. My view of the sunrise could have been a painting. Just days before, the stormy waves had absorbed most of the sand, but today serenity and tranquility had taken its place. However, inside of me it wasn't quiet. I woke up this morning and felt uneasy, a turmoil of feelings waging war against each other. I felt lost and alone. As I watched the sun make its way through the morning gloom, the brilliant colours of light radiating against my face and marking the start of a new day, all I could feel inside was a darkness. I sat down on the dunes, taking a moment to figure out what was going on. Beside me, Charlie obliviously continued digging a deep hole in the sand. Feelings. What are they? Have you noticed how there are mornings where you wake up ready to conquer the world? But then there are also those days where everything inside of you wants to curl up under a blanket and go back to sleep. Where you want to ignore what needs to be done and pretend just for that day that you don't exist and you'll be back when those good feelings return. See, it took me a very long time to realise my feelings don't determine who I am or what my day is going to look like. As I took my clothes off for a strange man, being stared at by other men, forced to perform sexual acts I didn't want to partake in, my feelings were real, and they were strong. Those feelings were just the beginning of making me feel a certain way, and in turn made me act a specific way. And for many years, even after my abuse came to an end, it was my feelings which made me feel like a nobody. It was my feelings which pushed me to attempt suicides and live as a victim. It was my feelings which stopped me from becoming someone. But feelings don't equal truth. Walking on the beach this morning, it wasn't any different to yesterday, or the day before that. It wasn't any different to last week or last month when I felt on top of the world. For a long time, my feelings determined who I was or how my day was going to pan out. It's taken years to identify that feelings are just a signpost and not my steering wheel. I felt dirty. I felt weak. I felt embarrassed and powerless. I felt stupid. I had no identity and I felt like I was a nobody. Those feelings were real, but they weren't truth. I was never dirty. I was never weak. I wasn't stupid, and I was someone. I have an identity, and I know who I am. This morning I felt dark, but the truth is there is light all around me. This morning I felt alone, but I am far from being alone. This morning I felt lost, but I know who I am and where I am. I was never lost. Whatever you're going through right now, whether you have suffered abuse or are in an abusive relationship, whether you feel alone or dirty, whether you feel lost or unloved, you might feel dark or you might feel hopeless. You might feel useless, or you might feel like a nobody. Know today that feelings aren't truth. We're not called to live by our feelings. We're called to live in truth. And as I've taken some time this morning and reminded myself of all the good things around me, I encourage you to do the same. Don't let your feelings become your steering wheel. Don't let your feelings determine who you are. Let them be a signpost. Take them on board and make changes where you need to make changes, but don't let them be in charge. My day today could have looked very different if I had chosen to be feeling led, if I had chosen to let my feelings be in charge. But instead, I took them on board and realised quickly that today's feelings weren't truth, and instead I've chosen to be truth-led. I feel weak, doesn't mean I am weak. I feel dark, doesn't mean I am dark. I feel dirty, doesn't mean I am dirty. I feel like a nobody, doesn't mean I am a nobody. Wherever you are today, whatever you are struggling with, remind yourself that you're called to live in truth and not in the many feelings which the world chooses to throw at us.